Alright, this is my first upload. I've actually decided to turn this channel into sort of a build log and a place where I discuss various computer things that I'm working on. So I'm just going to start off with showing you guys my current computer. It's built inside a Corsair 800D. The monitor's on the floor for now so that I can just see what I'm doing while I'm doing this rig overview. But this is my computer. You can see it's got a little bit of dust on top, which is not the only problem with dust that I have in this case, but I'll expand on that a little bit. You can see it's got a side window here. I have two NVIDIA graphics cards there. I have a GTX 760 on top as my main graphics processor, and then the one below is just a GTX 560 Ti. It's just a dedicated physics card right now. And I know that the cable management looks terrible. That is one of the things I'll be working on with this case. I'm actually planning on modifying this case. Now, the reason I'm actually making this video is just to show you guys one of the problems I ran into with this case. Now, a while ago, I'd actually installed these Cooler Master Excalibur fans at the very, very top as exhaust, and they're fantastic fans, no pun intended. They're just really, really great, high performance, really good airflow fans. And I had all these 120 mounts on top of my case, and I figured, hey, why not add some extra cooling to my case? So I threw some fans up there, and it worked great for my temperatures. I have a fan controller here by Scythe. It works really well. They actually don't sell this on Newegg anymore, unfortunately, but it's a really good one that I got a while ago. But anyway, so I got better temps for a while, and one of the things I noticed, and it wasn't until much later, is that I got quite a bit of dust on the inside of my case. You can probably see a little bit there. I think there's even some cobwebs in there. So one of the things I'm planning on doing is actually just cleaning out the case. I'm probably going to take the whole thing apart and just really clean every nook and cranny of this bastard out. And what I'm actually planning on doing is turning this into a positive air pressure build. And the way I'm going to go about doing that is actually taking these high-performance fans that I have up here. Now, most of the fans that I have in this case are actually the stock ones that came with it. I have a 140 millimeter fan from Corsair back here, another 140 down here, and that's really it for the fans that came with the case. There's one more that's kind of blocked off over here by the hard drives, but it really doesn't do much. So I don't really intend on being too dependent on that. Now, one of the things about the 800D that it's gotten kind of a lot of flack for is the lack of airflow in the case. And, there's really not too many airflow options on this case. It's really more meant for liquid cooling, but it wasn't quite as well optimized for airflow as some other cases in similar price points. So one of the challenges I had building this case was making it so that I could have a really good amount of airflow throughout the entire case without all this dust buildup. And that's the main reason that I wanted to go for a positive air pressure build, which is what I'm going to be working on very soon. Now the bottom does have a filter down here on the bottom exhaust vent where it can pull air up, but this fan isn't all that great. It's a 140 millimeter fan. Again, it came with the case. It's really not pulling all that much. And that's really it for the intakes on this case. I mean, there's no front intake here because on the 800D, there's just, a hot swap bay, which is very nice, but again, kind of takes away a cooling option there. There's currently no, side panel fans or anything. It's just a really nice big window. I'm actually planning on installing a fan on the side window at some point, but what I'm going to be experimenting with now is actually swapping out these high airflow fans at the top, and I'm actually going to be putting in the top instead these guys. They're just some really kind of medium low-end fans from Cooler Master. They're blue LED fans, which will look nice in my case. Not anything crazy in terms of performance, but they were very cheap. I got them for like $5 or $6 on Newegg, and they pull very moderate 39.77 CFM Veriflow. It's really not a whole lot. So I'm looking forward to putting these up there. It's going to make my case look a little nicer. It'll light up the thing a little bit. And what it'll really do, which is the main purpose of me getting these fans specifically, is I can take these high airflow fans, the Excaliburs, and I'm actually going to move them to various points in the case and have them pull air into the case so I can try to maintain a positive air pressure system going on in my case. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to be changing the layout of some of the fans. Right now the fan back here is actually an exhaust fan. I'm actually going to be flipping that over and turning it into an intake. And I'm going to use this fan filter for the back intake that I got from Silverstone. This I also bought from Newegg. And I'm just going to put this on top of one of the Excaliburs that I get from the top and put it back there just to pull in a little extra air as an intake. And then the bottom fan down here, unfortunately, it's a 140mm mounting solution. So for the time being, that fan is actually going to stay there. But what I'm planning on doing, if I can manage the wires correctly, I'm probably going to try to take one of the Excaliburs that I pull from the top here and actually bring it down, and maybe even just have it lay flat down here at the very bottom, right under where that fan is. But we'll see how I can manage it. I might actually just get like a 140 to 120mm adapter in the future, but in the meantime, it would be nice to have two fans, kind of working together to pull air in from the bottom. You can kind of see I have like a little piece of cardboard here just to give it a little more airflow down there. It's kind of my mistake for having a carpet in my room, having my PC on the floor is not a great combination, but fortunately the 800D does have a nice little fan filter on the very bottom, so that definitely helps. But yeah, I'm going to kind of mess around with the fan configuration and see if I can get a positive air pressure thing going on in this case, because I'd really like to get rid of some of this dust. And so one of the main projects I'm going to do is, after I clean out the case completely, get rid of all the dust that's in there right now, I actually have a 2-pack of Dust Off to help me with that project. After that, it's going to be mostly just a matter of tidying up my cable management and then reorienting the fans that I have and installing these guys on top. So my hope is that the Excaliburs, because they're more powerful fans, I can use just 2 of them to intake air in conjunction with this guy down here, which is the 140mm fan. And I'm hoping that their combined air pressure pulling air into the case will be greater than 3 of these fans. Now, I bought these in a 2-pack, like I said, for $6, so they're cheap fans. I'm not expecting them to perform very well. I'm not even expecting them to be all that quiet, so I'm actually going to hook these up to that fan controller that I showed you earlier and try to, just kind of tweak them a bit to, my liking. There's going to be 3 of them up there, so I don't want the LEDs too bright, but I'll kind of fiddle with that. But given that the maximum CFM is about, a little less than half of one of the Excaliburs, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make this a positive air pressure build just from the lack of airflow from these fans will be enough for the Excaliburs to kind of overpower it. So even though there's going to be less intakes overall, there will be more air coming in from each intake, cumulatively. So the net air pressure should be a positive number, I'm hoping. I'm going to kind of expand on the positive air pressure thing in the future, but for right now, this is just a basic rig run around and some ideas. I kind of knew going into it that the 800D wasn't a great option for air cooling. There's other cases out there. The half series from Cooler Master is very, very good. But when I had first bought this case, I was really planning on liquid cooling, eventually kind of expanding into liquid cooling, and then later, after I'd already built my rig into the case, I'd kind of decided against it. It wasn't really for me. Liquid cooling setups are very nice, but it's very high maintenance, and I just really didn't have the budget to kind of get it all started up to have a custom loop and everything. So I didn't really venture into it, and I don't really plan to. So I'm kind of stuck with this case in the meantime, but I'm planning on making the best of it and possibly modifying the side panel to accommodate a fan or 2, but we'll see what I can get out of the modification from just swapping up the fans and changing up the configuration a bit. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to comment down below. And if I'm making a mistake with the CFM being the air pressure, numbers, feel free to let me know and correct me. I'm more than happy to take some criticism here. I'm still learning as I go along. So anyway, thanks for watching.